Hey everyone, welcome back to Hit Wicket, and today I thought I'd kickstart a series of team previews heading into the T20 World Cup, which is coming up in less than a month now. So first team I'll go through is Australia. Here is their squad, the champions from last tour. I think it was an unexpected one too, with them going into that with not much preparation, quite a few losses under their belt, but they ended up clutching that one, and now they have the World Cup back at home. So they definitely have the home advantage. I think there's two big questions surrounding their squad. One is, will they go with Tim David or not? Now, Tim David, as we know, he's played the IPL. He's a known six-hitter. He's played a lot of the leagues around the world. But he hasn't played much international cricket yet. In fact, he just played his first game the other day. So will he be able to do what he does in the franchise level, in the international level? That's what we're not fully sure yet. And there's not much 2020 cricket left until the World Cup starts, so it will be a bit of a gamble for them. But Australia do need a bit of power at that back end, and a couple of their finishers have been struggling. I think personally they should go with Tim David, and the next question is, will Steve Smith make the 11? For me, he still does make the 11 because I think he provides that balance, that flexibility in the lineup that they need. They already have a lot of players who are quite similar in a sense. If there's a collapse, he can bat through the innings. He's not the worst 2020 player, and if they get off to a good start, he can just shift down the order, go to 7 or 8 or whatever. I still think he's worth keeping in the side, although I know a lot of my fellow Australian fans want him out of the side because they don't think he's that good of a 2020 player. But I'd like to see him still be in there, and that leads into my most probable 11. So looking at their squad, up the top, you have to have Finch and Warner. Finch is skipper. He's obviously very short of runs. There's a big question mark up there, but they're not going to change it 1 month out of the World Cup. So Finch has just got to find some form or just try and smash a quick 15-20 like he did the other day. If he can do that on a regular basis, that's good enough of a contribution. Warner has been in very good form in a couple of formats, so he'll go into this tournament with a lot of confidence for sure. Now we have the middle order of Australia, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this isn't going to be the order because, as we know in 2020 cricket, it can shift depending on the situation. But I'd have Smith, Mitch Marsh, Tim David, Glenn Maxwell, and Matthew Wade as the number 7. Now, obviously, those guys can shift around given the situation. If more power hitting is needed, send David, send Maxwell. If more balance is needed, then send Smith. Like if you lose an early one in the first 3-4 overs. Maxwell has been a bit of a concern, although his bowling has been surprisingly really good, and that might be very handy for Australia. But his batting will be of concern because he has lacked runs. I think they'll have to go with him because of his spin bowling option. If, say, Smith or Marsh aren't doing too well, they can easily just sub in Stoinis. Wade has been a brilliant finisher for them now. And the 4 bowlers picked themselves with Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood and Zampa, who have all been pretty good, especially Hazelwood. He's honestly probably their best pace bowler, and Zampa's a very good wicket taker. He's been for some time now in Australia. They finally found a comfortable room with him there. He's a permanent player on the side. There was a long time when you felt they didn't fully back him, but he definitely has the full backing now. Where I think they'll finish, I think this Australian team can go, I won't say all the way again. I think they can go to the grand final. In their group, it's not an easy group either. They do have to verse England, New Zealand, Afghanistan's a dark horse. So it's not going to be an easy group to get out of, but I do see them going out of that group, especially with the home advantage. Now, finally, who do I think the top 3 contributors will be for them in this World Cup? Top 3, I have to go Warner as one of them. I think his form's been brilliant. He's been up the top. He's done well for years on end for Australia, but he seems to have come into his own in the last couple of months. Even when Australia's collapsed, he's scored runs, which is a good sign to see. And he'll be very important for Australia's chances of getting through to the next stage. Number 2, I am going to go with Hazelwood. The way he's been bowling over this last period of time in 2020 cricket, he's really revolutionised how he was before. And I see him doing very well in Australian conditions with that extra bounce, extra pace that he has. And his change-ups are really good too. And the third pick, which might be a surprising one for some of you, but I'm going to go with Matthew Wade. As he did in the last World Cup, he provided some really important finishing knocks. And we just saw the other night that he did a similar sort of thing. And I think in 2020 cricket, the finishing job whether it's first innings or last innings, is a very important job to have. And Wade has done that very well. He's an experienced player, and funnily enough, he's actually a top order batsman, but he's played that number 7 role to exceptional standards. If he can get that 30 off 15 balls or 20 off 7, 8 balls, then yeah, that'll be a great finishing touch that Australia will need each and every innings. Let me know in the comments below how you think Australia will go in this World Cup and how far you think they'll go, and will they go with Tim David or not? And until next time, I'll see you guys later.